What's up, guys? Welcome back to the channel. Boozer here. Thanks for stopping by. Hopefully you guys having a good start to the week today. It's Monday and we got a fusion going on right now. We got the dog fusion happening. Kro Khad the Throatripper is in the game, and yeah, there he is. He's going to be a fragment collector fusion. Let's go over the fusion schedule in this video. Just a quick reminder to you guys that have Greycoast, Turndrake, and if you guys have all four of the event champions, so Greycoast, Balar, Solin, and Lemonisi, make sure you guys summon all of them before August 5th so you guys get some goodies for obtaining all four of them. Make sure you guys do that. I'm going to pull Greycoast during Personal Reward CVC that's coming tomorrow. Make sure you guys drop on by if you guys are around. We will be streaming during Personal Reward CVC tomorrow. But yeah, here we go. A quick overview about Kro Khad here. We did do a showcase on him. I was very impressed at his overall damage relative to somebody like Thor, for example, especially in places like Hydra. Most of his damage is coming from his counterattacks and ally attacks, especially with Shayak, his partner. Without his partner, I think he's okay. He's okay, but with his partner, he gets pretty insane, like I said, with his counterattacks and ally attacks. His A2 actually hits pretty good and applies some pretty good debuffs as well. But I think overall a very good champion, even without Shayak, since he does apply these very nice debuffs, brings multiple AoEs. Also very good for hard faction wars for the Orcs faction. And of course, don't fret if you don't have Shayak. Playerm did say that Shayak will be available during one of these events, but we don't know what yet. They said that it's not going to be a fusion. That's about it. Didn't really give us too many hints on that. But all right, let's jump into this fusion plan here. So here we go. We got 110 fragments here. We don't really count the tournament wins, but we got 110. So that means we can only skip 10 fragments in total if we do every single event. On first look, there's no noticeable gaps or anything in any of the days, so there's no real days off, meaning that there's probably no real surprise events. I'm kind of looking for an event where they can squeeze Shayak in, for example, and so far I don't see anything. So let's take a quick look here. So Tuesday, Wednesday, we got CVC happening. Day one, we got Dragon Tournament starting with Champion Training. So Dragon Tournament with Champion Training, that's pretty okay. There's a bunch of solo champions where you can train food as well. Obviously, this is very good if you can do food champions. Looking at spending about 2,300 energy here if you're doing Dungeon 20. If you're doing Hard 10, it's probably going to be closer to 2,500 energy, just as a general estimate. So day one, don't go crazy on your energy. Just do your daily energy, maybe use some brews, work the tavern, work the training event a little bit. And then on day two, when CVC starts, we are looking at the Dungeon Diver 1. So now you can start doing your energy with Dragon, ideally farming food during CVC. Dragon's not the best during CVC. It doesn't give you the most points for a dungeon, but hey, you are basically triple dipping with the CVC and dungeon diving and the training event. So it's just being a little bit efficient. In terms of energy spending, dungeon diving, you're probably spending closer to 5,500 energy. You can bring that down to maybe about 5,000 if you're doing Dungeon 20. If you're doing Hard 10, about 5,500. So the way Dungeon Diving 1 is probably going to go is that you're going to spend your 2,300 energy from Dragon Tournament going right into Dungeon Diving 1. And then you have the beginning, maybe a little bit of Ice Golem here. You really want to jam in as much energy as you can into this Ice Golem on day one so that you can basically double dip into the Dungeon Diving 1. But it's going to be difficult, right? Because this is going to cost you another 2,300 energy. And to squeeze 2,300 energy into one day, it's going to be tough. And even if you do squeeze 2,300 and finish the Dragon Tournament, you still don't have enough energy to complete the first Dungeon Diver. So I see a little bit of an energy bottleneck right here on the day one. So you probably have to do a little bit of campaign just to be efficient with everything with the Dungeon Diver. So yeah, a little bit of energy spend on the first week already. Classic Arena, pretty straightforward stuff. Classic Arena stuff. Classic Arena. Those are basically given just gem expenditures. Make sure you guys stay on top of it. We have, what do we got here? We got 1, 2, 3 gear enhancement events. Those are pretty standard, about 20 million each. It shouldn't be a problem if you're grinding Dragon, Ice Golem campaign, and then you have all those gears that you're selling, and then you're getting silver. So that's how you really do the gear enhancement events. You don't really need a lot to start fusions. maybe, you know, 5 million to start. And then once you start actually actively playing and doing the events, you should grind enough silver to do the gear enhancement events. Now, the meat of the fusion here is always going to be the summon event. So we got the summon rush here. You know, obviously this fusion starts on Monday. This summon event starts at the end of the week, and we would have already completed a couple of events before the summon rush opens. So it's a little bit not that good, because usually if the fusion starts on a Thursday, then we can see what the summon rush is before fully committing to it. But in this case, we would have committed to a couple events already before seeing a summon rush. Most likely you're going to go for this fusion anyways, since he's a good champion. But, you know, that's just a little bit of a nitpick from myself. In terms of overall price, the summon rush probably will cost you about 3,000 points in terms of overall points for the first threshold, which would be 5. It should be 5 and 10 for the summon rush, and then it should be 5 and 10 for the champion chase as well. For the first 5, I'm hoping that it's going to cost you probably around 2,500, and then maybe for the full 15, it'll cost you about 5,500 or so. So looking somewhere around 5 sacreds all the way up to 11 sacreds. Now, a quick look at my account here. I'm a little bit in a precarious spot because I only have 2 sacred shards here. So you guys can kind of see how I will navigate the summon rush event without much shards to go into it. Of course, I have lots of ancient shards and void shards, but I really don't want to use these during summon rushes. So for me, I'm probably going to go with the sacred shards, and then probably going to spend mystery shards, or I'll probably have to use some void shards there as well. But there is going to be a 2x void event the week after. So on this weekend and the back half, we have 2x voids. Just something to consider, guys, because 2x voids during the champion chase, decent value. Each void shard's worth roughly 100 points. If we expect about 3,000 points for the full of 15 fragments available in the champion chase, then you're expecting to spend about 30 void shards. Of course, you can also use like fragment summons and remnant summons and whatever you have that you have saved up. So for me, this summon rush, I'm really hoping to skip as much as possible, and I'm only going to grab the minimum in the summon rush. So for me, since we have an allowable 10 fragments to skip, I will try my best to skip the 10 fragments from the summon rush and only get the 5 necessary ones from the summon rush, just because I'm a little bit low on the big shards. That helps finish off summon rushes a lot easier and more efficiently. So that's going to be my plan. Unless maybe they do, you know, 2x primals or something. That would be great. If they do 2x primals, boosted primals, then that would be great. I have some primal shards to spend there. Another nitpick here is that the summon rush ends with the champion training. So it's nice to have champion training pairing up with summon events, because then you can just train up your food right away. But in this case, the training event doesn't open until the last day of the summon rush. So a little bit of a nitpick there. They don't overlap a little bit better. We do have a dungeon diver here as well happening with the summon rush. A little bit of a nitpick here is that spider is happening at the end of the dungeon diver. Now this is a bit of a problem here because there's not too much overlap, right? Like I said, the dragon and ice golem, it's already going to be difficult because on day 1 you want to jam the ice golem into this divers 1, which is going to be very difficult. So most likely you're not going to be able to do it, which means most of this ice golem dungeon points will go into the dungeon diver 2. But there's actually a 1-day gap here. There's actually a 1-day gap here, which means this energy that you get during this 1 day and this 1 day worth of energy that you're spending is not going towards the first dungeon diver or the second dungeon diver. So I already see this being a little bit of an issue, because this means that you're just going to be spending extra energy that you probably wouldn't have. So in any case, if you have a little bit of the ice golem left, you will probably do that during this dungeon diver. You know, again, this dungeon diver is going to cost you, you know, between 5,500. I assume hard 10, if you guys are doing it, super efficiently for energy, it's going to cost you about 5,000, but hard 10 is going to be about 5,500 in general. Yeah, so a little bit of ice golem going into the second dungeon diver, and then you're going to be doing the second dungeon diver fully with the probably spider tournament. Training with spider, you know, can be done with like Marius, can be done with Eric's, in terms of farming food as well as completing the dungeon diver at the same time. But this is going to be a big spend, guys. It's going to cost you 2,300 to finish this, but you're probably going to be doing the full 5,500 into the spider tournament. Also keep in mind that August 5th is the last day for the event dungeon as well. So we don't know what kind of events they're gonna throw in there. Most likely gonna have one more Corrosa tournament somewhere here. So it's probably gonna be Spider Tournament plus Corrosa. So you probably have opportunities to finish off this dungeon diver without wasting energy in some random dungeon somewhere probably. And then after that, we have the third dungeon diver here. Yeah, these are pretty killer, right? These are pretty killer. They're gonna cost you again 5,500 energy. And the only dungeon that lines up here is going to be the Fire Knight. So you're going to be spending either the full 5,500 in the Fire Knight, or if there's going to be another dungeon that's open, you can do it in the Fire Knight and then the other dungeon that's open for maybe another event. Now, what is the likelihood of a Titan event squeezing into this as well? My guess is 100% they're going to squeeze a Titan event here into this champion chase at the very end here. In the past, when they've done this, where the champion chase is the last event in the fusion, it's been working out really nicely for Plarium to basically just baton pass into a Titan event by squeezing in Titan events points into the champion chase, and of course still have the fusion fragments in the champion chase. So if you guys are interested in a Titan event, most likely for Kro Khad's Soul, I would basically follow the exact same plan that I'm going to be doing. Go light on the summon rush the first week, and then focus on the champion chase on the second week. Like I said, 2x voids coming for the champion chase, pretty good. Expect to spend somewhere around 35-40 void shards, a little less if you want to pull other champions fragments and whatnot. And overall, just be ready for the champion chase. So I think this is going to be how it's going to be working out. Would fully expect the Titan here at the end. And then I would expect Shayak to basically show up during perhaps a Deck of Fate or Hero's Path during the Titan event. So if you guys are going to go for the full shebang here, you guys have a couple weeks to save up probably. It's not obvious where they would put a Shayak event in this schedule, assuming that he would be a Deck of Fate or Hero's Path or anything like that. And of course, putting Shayak in a Titan event would really up the stakes. I could totally see Plarium doing that, because Titan events already is very, very difficult, and they already usually include a Deck of Fate or Hero's Path in there as well. So I would basically put money that the Titan event will be for 5-star Soul, and then Shayak will be probably a Deck of Fate somewhere in that Titan event. Anyways, guys, this schedule looks pretty straightforward to me. At least things do give you opportunity to double and triple dip. I do see some gaps in the energy planning, so you will probably spend some energy a little bit more inefficiently, or there'll be 1 or 2 days where you guys will be grinding in kind of random dungeons. At least based on the events given so far. August 5th, the event dungeon is closing, so I would expect one more Corrosa tournament to happen. Not sure if they're going to be doing any kind of crazy events for Corrosa one more time, but you never know. We got 2x voids coming next weekend, and my general advice is to go light on the first summon rush and then focus on the champion chase, because I'm really guessing that there's going to be a Titan event that's going to connect with the champion chase. And yeah, that totally works out for me. So anyways, guys, that's gonna be it for this video. Let me know in the comments below what you guys think. Did I miss anything in this video? Let me know. Best of luck going for the fusion. He looks like a fun one, especially if you have Shayak, especially if you need some help in the Hydra. Have a great start to the week, and I'll see you guys in the next video.